President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's plan to reform Nigeria's tax laws got a boost yesterday with Ohanaeze Ndigbo, the apex socio-cultural organization from the southeast, joining the southwest, south-south and north-central parts of Nigeria to support the landmark bills expected to significantly alter the existing fiscal framework. Wading into the debate on the much-talked-about proposed legislations, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, in a statement issued by the Secretary-General of the body, Okechukwu Iziguzoro, noted that the bills represent a transformative opportunity for the rejuvenation of small, medium enterprises and the enhancement of the fortunes of Nigerian workers. But the controversy over the 4 tax bills continued yesterday, with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, however, urging federal lawmakers to prioritize equity and inclusivity. All right, Rufai, this conversation is going nowhere anytime soon until there's some sort of resolution, but it's important that we continue the conversation and, most importantly, educate people as to the details of the tax reform bills and the benefits or otherwise of it. But your take on this story about Ohanaeze Ndigbo.
And I like the debates. I'm one up for the debates. Ohanaeze Ndigbo gets it because a part of that bill says businesses that are not making up to 50 million naira,
Yes.
Will be given exemptions of taxation, which is only best for small businesses at a time like this. That bill also talks about harmonization of all the taxes. The numerous taxes given to business, there's just going to be one tax called the development tax. Then the government can separate whatever it's going to do. Tawe Yele was saying that there are over 40 different bills.
Taxes.
No, 40 different bills for setting up things, institutions and things like that. That's where they are going to get the money from was to tax the already existing tax structure. And that's why you have money for saying that's why you have 2% education tax, blah, 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 and all of that taxes. And the nation can't move forward when you have multiplicity of taxes. So all of that will be put in just one development tax, probably about 4% iteration. And from there, the government can take what it wants. See, we know the bone of contention. What's the bone of contention? VAT. There are over 200 proposals in that tax bill. The northern region is not against those 200 proposals. The only one they're against is the tax, VAT tax. Why are they against it? Because a certain area there talks about derivation. The threshold of calculation of taxation for derivation will bump up to 60%. And if the derivation is based on consumption, they feel it's going to be problematic for them because they do not provide a lot of consumption. Who are the big VAT payers in this country? MTN, Dangote, and the likes. But this tax bill also talks about the fact that it's not going to have the headquarters effect any longer. That, okay, take for instance, you buy a recharge card and they are saying, no, they're going to bill it to the headquarters where MTN has their headquarters. It's going to go to the area where this recharge card is being consumed. So you can equally spread that money. For full clarity on this, I think I want the FIRS to do something. In this projected tax proposal, the FIRS should please try to develop proration of amounts that will be paid to each state in this new tax regime based on pre-existing tax numbers or amounts received from VAT, so that they can even see the empirical figures. Maybe that would also make the argument even better, so that they can see for themselves that there's not going to be any much disparity. The other part of the argument that for me that's not a non-starter is the fact that Lagos is going to benefit more. Lagos have always benefited more in VAT prior to this time, even with the current tax system. So that's not an argument. Areas that you have more consumption obviously will benefit more. So let's stop. But I think if the FIRS should even do the numbers, let's see the empirical numbers of how much states will get with this new tax projected numbers. Then I think it should deepen the conversation. But it's up for it. I'm for this tax bill. It needs to pass one way or the other.
Okay. We spent the better part of last week up to the weekend discussing this same subject, the 4 tax bills proposed by the executive arm of government. And we reached the conclusion last week up to yesterday on another program, This Day Live, that as Senator Ojus Okalu put it yesterday, that these tax bills are progressive. As we argued during the week, that these tax bills, the reforms are long overdue. And that what the federal government has done in these bills will promote competition because states will now collect sales tax relevant to their consumption, relevant to 60% derivation, and they've given that all kinds of interpretation, whether it's the VAT bill or the tax administration bill or the Nigeria Revenue Service bill, which seeks to, create another body different from the FIRS, and then the Joint Revenue Board bill. We reached the conclusion also that this will in fact generate competition among the states, make the states perhaps more productive, because if states only collect VAT on what they consume, not on import, not on export, not on international services, then they will need to look inwards a little bit more. So as a bill, it's in order. But the question here that we have seen is that you can present a bill without necessarily managing it well. This bill was taken by the executive to the National Assembly. This is the second leg of the analysis now, beyond all the theorization and analysis of the content that we did last week. Before presenting it at FEC, before consulting the various stakeholders. In other words, when you are proposing a bill that is this important, you have to merge executive arrogance with political intelligence. Merge executive arrogance with political intelligence. Because most of the people who are complaining, they are saying, oh, Tinubu has brought this because he wants to give advantage to some states of the Federation, Lagos, Bayelsa, Oyo, and the Federal Capital Territory. They are not looking at the details of the bill. In fact, many of the people commenting on this bill are speaking out of mischief and ignorance. They have not read the bills. The few ones that may have read the bills do not even understand the content because there wasn't enough time for negotiation. You recall that when we were in government, the Jonathan administration wanted to introduce the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Now, the meaning of a Sovereign Wealth Fund is that the country should save for the rainy day. All the governors kicked. They said, oh, you are taking this money from what we are entitled to. Well, nobody wants to save. In fact, some of the states went to court. But the government had to go through the process of consulting, of negotiating, before it was possible to establish the Sovereign Wealth Fund. What I think now has to be done is that perhaps we will not be at this situation if the Oyedele Committee on tax policy and fiscal reform policy had been allowed to have public hearing. We could have, all this debate we're having now is after the fact. Perhaps we could have heard the debate earlier. Maybe perhaps the federal government could also, within its own operations, have allowed the debate. But that debate should still happen. Because now we say they say there's going to be a public hearing. There should be, an interplay of ideas. Those who do not understand the bill, those who have been mischievous, all of them should be allowed to understand the bill. Because I see a lot of mischief, I see a lot of ignorance, and in Nigeria it's very difficult to manage mischief and ignorance. The missing link that has to be corrected is the political intelligence part of it. And the bill, when it is submitted to public hearing, there should be no kangaroo exercise. I was telling Senator Oji Uzokalu yesterday that we have seen situations in this country where they will say, public hearing, they will give notice a day to the event. By the following day, they have passed the bill. And Nigerians will say, what happened? This is an ambush. And nobody should ambush Nigerians. All opinions should be considered. As for the northern youths blaming people, maybe the public hearing will give them an opportunity, and create an opportunity for others for inclusion. Ohanaeze, Ndigbo has spoken well, and it shows that Ohanaeze understands the bill, but there should be discussions.
Yes, so I think discussions ought to be ongoing, and very importantly, all the stakeholders should have adequate information so they are able to make informed decisions. I think there's also a danger of people coming out to speak without understanding the details of the bills. I say this because a number of governors, stakeholders have granted interviews and in some instances are misleading the public. In fairness to the Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms headed by Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, which was established last year, June 2023, by the President, they had said in their explainer, and they released a number of explainers, he has done a number of interviews, he has spoken at a number of forums, and he has continuously explain the details of the bills, especially highlighting the benefit of this tax reform bill to Nigerians and Nigeria as a whole. So it's either, number one, the governors who are opposing this are deliberately trying to, are deliberately not wanting to understand, or perhaps just ignorant, and then they should get their assistance on economy, or perhaps economists or experts to break it down to them. But very simple. Go, whether it's on X, on his Instagram page, interviews he's conducted, Mr. Oyedele has done a very good job at trying to break down, especially highlighting benefits. Also, he reported in one of his explainers that the committee comprised of over 80 individuals from all walks of life across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, government institutions included, organized private sector, trade associations, professional bodies, youth groups, students, and that they ensure that gender balance was a thing. So when you hear some of his interviews, he talks about his engagement with some of the governors, especially governors where they felt, or states where they felt they might find some form of resistance or bottlenecks, Lagos being the center. In fact, he said that he thought that pushback would come because it seemed like a lot of the revenue would be coming out of Lagos State and being spread. States which should benefit from these tax reforms are the ones who are coming out to oppose it. Beyond that is the sharing formula. So what he has said in his explanation as well is that whereas the current sharing formula, according to the current tax system, is 15% going to the federal government, 50% going to the state, and 35% going to the local government area. In order to cushion the effect of the changes and to ensure that the states have enough buffer to stimulate the economy, generate economic activities in their state, the federal government has agreed to take a 10% share, the state a 55% share, so there's a 5% buffer to cover the period. And he's saying that any responsible state should be able to make gains from this tax reform bills in under 2 years. And then local government continues with 35%. So I know we have a guest coming on later on, but I think it's very important. I've supported this tax reform bill right from the very beginning. I had the opportunity to sit in a session where he gave a presentation and he spelled out clearly. I mean, especially because of the consideration of the low-income earners in Nigeria, small businesses in Nigeria, which we have advocated for a number of times. But this is normal. When there's change, usually the first response from people is resistance, because people resist change naturally. But I do believe that a continuous engagement, reading up on the facts, and not misleading the public on the information as provided by the committee is very critical at this point. Everyone should do their research, read about it. It's out there. Information is there. We've discussed it extensively here as well, and we will continue to discuss this. Change, good change, is important for this country to move forward. Let's move on to our next story. Ohanaeze news correspondent Nkechi Nana emerged winner in the television reporting category of the Diamond Award for Media Excellence, otherwise known as the DAME Awards, on Saturday night. Ohanaeze News got all 3 nominations in the category of the award, which is the 33rd edition, and was held in Lagos. Here are the details.
A gathering to celebrate all that is excellent in the Nigerian media ecosystem. It is the Diamond Awards for Media Excellence, popularly called the DAME Awards, held in Ikeja, Lagos. Practicing journalists and even those retired media scholars, media rights and development experts, and of course, the nominees are all joined by family and friends to witness the glamour of the award night, which is in its 33rd edition.
We hope to continue to sustain it for as long as the Lord gives us the strength to do so. And we believe that it's made tremendous impact on practice, because people know there is a benchmark that their work should not fall below. And so they look forward to it, and we think in a democracy such as ours, we need that spirit of healthy competition where those who are sure of themselves can step forward, put up their works, and test it against their peers.
Straight to business, the announcement for nominees and winners in different categories of the awards kicks off.
look at the camera. Congratulations.
Cheers, applause as journalists who had put in the work in their different beats in the past year get recognized and rewarded for their hard work. Arise News shines like a million stars on the night as it gets all the 3 final nominations for the television reporting category.
You are competing against yourself. It's going home.
And home, it indeed comes.
Around custody rights for this influential figure. To comprehend the link, we must rewind to the beginning of this year, providing you with an immersive journey into the events that have defined the nation's economic trajectory in 2023.
For a beautifully produced report on the plight of Nigerians owing to the Naira swap policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria in 2023, Nkechi Nana emerges the winner of the category. Ovieteme George, the second runner-up, and myself, the first runner-up. And Arise News, the biggest winner of the night.
And I'm just so happy and I'm grateful. I was the only woman nominee in all the categories, and I think it's just right that I won. But I'm happy, and I'd like to thank all the other nominees, Ovieteme George and Tokumbo as well. They did an amazing job.
Not just the award, but what you are able to address with your reports in present-day Nigeria. I'm still feeling a bit sad that the fire is still raging in that community in Ondo State. Nothing has been done yet. So we'll sustain the advocacy. That's the beauty of it. We don't we package reports to affect society positively. And so when the awards come, who am I not to take? We all take. So it's a beautiful thing. Arise is the winner here. Congratulations to my colleague Nkechi Nana.
As Nigeria's and Africa's longest-running media awards, the organizers still promise to continue enhancing professionalism in the Nigerian media space by recognizing and honoring diligence, creativity, and bravery of professionals like Nkechi and the rest of the team at the Arise News channel. Tokumbo Oyetunji, Arise News, Lagos.
It's award season, and congratulations to our colleagues Nkechi Nana, Tokumbo Oyetunji, and of course Ovieteme George. Definitely well deserved. I loved what Ovieteme said, that they don't do this work for the accolades or for the awards, is to serve as a platform for change, positive change in society. And I think that's such a powerful way to view things, especially when we talk about with much power comes much responsibility, and being able to use the power they've been given very responsibly. Congratulations, and of course the Arise News. Fine.
I mean, very apt. And concerning that fire raging in that community in Ondo, I remember when Ovieteme did that report. In fact, he was so passionate about it that he also recruited a lot of us to be able to amplify. The fact that that fire is not put out now is even more sad on our society. And it's a sad indication of the fact that we need to do something as regards those forgotten communities. And Nkechi's award, too, was for a very good report, you know, the effect of the Naira swap and that on people, because we all know that back and forth that it brought to our society. Yeah. Really, I think the work of a reporter is just of amplification. They amplify things that society would normally not see. And a platform like Arise only just gives them that capacity to be able to shine, you know, and graces to many more work. And reporting and journalism is very apt in a society where, you know, people don't want good stories being reported. No. And it showed yesterday. I saw the interview with Fisayo, you know, and it showed yesterday. He was an embedded reporter trying to bring out the truth about crude oil theft, which could have saved this country. But the military forces scuttled that themselves.
That was a good interview.
And they just stopped it. So it speaks volumes. And congratulations to Dame Awards. I mean, I was with Mr. Larry Dowa at another function, I think at the UNICEF function. And it's good that he has kept on doing this all this while, because it's not also easy in a society like this, organizing an award for about that long and having the 33rd edition. Thank you so much. Congratulations. And there are implications.
Well,
so, Ovieteme fish, Ovieteme fish from Bayelsa.
Fish.
Let me begin by congratulating Mr. Larry Dowa, a very sound professional, who has spent his entire life in journalism, a man who is one of the great products of the Department of Mass Communication, or generally the University of Lagos. Let everybody claim the glory of the University of Lagos, and who has done very well in journalism, and who has distinguished himself with his Diamond Awards for Media Excellence, which has been there. I must have about 4 on my shelf somewhere, but he continues to encourage excellence. He also publishes, a journal to go with it, where articles are written focusing on the best in the profession. And he is the only one who has been able to sustain that aspect of it. So it's serious business, and this is a serious award, coming to Nkechi Nana, and recognition for 2 other reporters from Arise News. So I congratulate them. Now, what I take from Ovieteme George's comment is the point he made about it's Arise News that is the winner. Now, I think about 8-9 years ago, nobody even knew Arise News. Nobody knew the station. An effort was made to build this station, to, put it up. We were looking for influencers, put the station. So the Arise News itself is a product of commitment, hard work, teamwork. Some other personality will talk about teamship. And that is why I keep saying that the reward for hard work, now back to back, almost every week, almost on a monthly basis, Arise News is winning awards. Even people who came last year, 2 years ago, they are winning awards. It's because of, the excellence, the tradition of distinction, of hard work that is here, in this environment. So congratulations to that. So the award is for everybody in Arise News, from the chairman to the makeup artists to the people who clean up the space where we operate on a daily basis. So this victory is ours. But we need to continue to work harder. We need to continue to remain committed. More people will come, new people will come, but people must know that there's a tradition of excellence and commitment that is around here that they must remain committed to. And in that regard, Ovieteme George, Tokunbo Yetunji, and Nkechi Nana have gone out there to represent us very well. News correspondents, because there's emphasis here on news, and there are persons who believe that Arise News is truly of international standard, because we have a team that is committed to excellence, including Matthew, who is looking at me, saying we are the ones who put you people out there. Congratulations to all of us.
Congratulations to everyone, especially those who are behind the scenes. And we don't get to, because for any report to come out, of course, a lot of people are involved in it. The editor, the cameraman, and everybody involved in that production. So truly, they are the faces who receive the awards. But every single one who's working tirelessly behind the scenes deserve the accolades. And of course, our viewers who continuously support the work that we do and make sure that we show up correct. Because if not, we get criticized for it. But Dr. Abate, I have a question for you. So if everybody is, this win is for everybody, who is responsible for implications? I think that's a very important.
You have implications. You won the Gleam Award over the weekend. Hang on, wait, please.
Let me ask Dr. Abate this question, because it's very pertinent.
No, I want to ask you to this question. You won the Eloy Award, Best TV Personality. You won the Gleam Award over the weekend, Best TV Personality. So you have 2 implications. Don't ask about it. Do your own first.
No, but it's for all of us.
There are many pending implications.
So Dr. Abate, who is responsible? If all of us are the makeup artist, Matthew, everybody, who is responsible?
The individuals are the ones who projected us. So the individuals that have won awards, they should come and provide the implications.
Even you have any implication. You won award Friday. You promised to do, you didn't do.
I've been winning awards since 1985.
We don't. See, it's
that's why your implications should represent a number of years.
Everybody here have won award. But the tradition, no, please, let me say something better.
Please say it.
But the tradition which you put down is implication.
I'm no longer putting down
No,
any tradition.
so you are the
I will
founder
draw
of
the
implication.
tradition.
No. So when is your time?
Let people do their professional
Don't
work.
let it spoil under you. Do your implication. Ayo, you do your
imagine?
implication.
No, it's
Femi,
not- it's
do
not
your
spoil.
implication.
You won't
And
spoil.
we identify together.
Friday.
Doctor, I don't like it too.
TGIF Friday.
TGIF.
I'll follow the producer's lead. He said he did his with Suya.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll add Bolly to mine.
Okay.
So, all right.
What
Thank
is
you.
that?
It's Bolly and fish.
That's below the belt. Do you know the song about Bolly? No, Aguguru and Ekpato Ito.